Hi, today on Cooking with Steve, I'm going to show you how to cut the cheese quickly and easily on this beautiful machine, the Beswood 250R. Stay tuned. Our daughter's getting married on October 25th. Her bridal shower is today, and a couple of weeks back she had asked my wife and I if we could volunteer to create a charcuterie platter for the event. So in doing so, we, of course, as any parents would do, we obliged her, and we picked up a bunch of meats and cheeses, and instead of manually slicing them with the knives, we're going to go ahead and make them very precision, and we're going to cut them on this beautiful machine that we invested in many years ago, and that's the Beswood 250R Deli Meat Slicer. It's a home version, but man, I'm telling you, it works like a commercial version. I'm going to show you how to set up the machine, and I'm going to show you how easily it is to slice these sausages that we have here and the cheese that we have. And then I'm also going to show you how to clean the machine afterwards, which is very important with these types of machines. It can be very dangerous to do if you have never done it before. So I'll tell you what to look for and what you should do to prevent any ghastly injuries, since we're talking about cheese. Anyhow, all right, I'm going to get started, and I'll let you know what I'm doing as we move forward. I'm going to be transferring the sliced salami and cheeses to this tray right here. But I'm also going to have to separate them so they're not all stuck together. I'll show you how I'm going to do that using this. This is parchment paper dispenser that we bought. Very, very cool. And it is from, let me see, Chick Wrap right here. Oh, maybe that's Chic Wrap. I don't know. Chick, chic, whatever. Anyhow, it is a very, very great little tool. And you have your roll of parchment paper that's inside, as you see there. And this comes out. This flops in. And all you do is pull out a slice. And I've already pre-measured what I need, the size that I need. So I will pull out a slice like such. About the width that I need, and this little button here just goes across like that, and voila, there you have a perfect sized piece of parchment paper. So what I'll be doing is laying down the salami slices like this, and then put another layer of parchment paper. So I pre-cut all of these, and we'll get slicing. First rule of thumb is when you're handling other people's food, make sure that you wear some latex gloves. So what you'll see here is that I have had to square off all the cheeses. That's the best way to go when you're going to put them through the slicer. So it's a bit of work, and you're going to have some waste, but you're still saving so much money. This is like $160 worth of cheese. It would probably cost you over $250 if you bought it pre-packaged. So we do the same thing with the salamis. You have to square off one edge. That's called the angel share. They come like this, pointy, but we square off an edge so it goes easily through the blade. Let's start by setting down a layer of parchment on the bottom. So we're going to be transferring our sliced meats and cheeses. Here's your blade adjuster right here. Always have it set at 0 when storing the machine. And we're going to do some really thin slicing here today, so we're going to give it a couple test slices, and I'll show you real quick how the blade moves when you slice, when you adjust it. So you will see this blade become exposed right now as I turn. See that? Just that little turn right there. See that? So there's your blade. That will cut you, it will sever you. Yeah, so we only need we're gonna start with like maybe a half, or yeah, we'll start at a half and see where that gets us. That's your power button right there. We'll start with the meat, see what we get. Look at that. Beautifully thin sliced. Probably slice it a little thicker than that. That is beautiful though, isn't it? That's at a half. Maybe we'll go to 3/4. I think that's good for charcuterie. Perfect. That's what you're left with at the end of your slice. Nice thin slice, like that. Perfect size for your cracker. Always measure your crackers before you decide how big you have to slice your cheese. That nice and easy. There is our charcuterie, layered salami, cheese, all there. This is a pretty thick tray, as you can see. It's layered with cheese and salami, separated by parchment paper, ready to deliver to our event, and then set up on our charcuterie boards, which I will take a picture of and show you at the end. On to this catastrophe. You can see down in there all that gunk, the blade, there's stuff trapped down in there. You got all that. Oh, there's a piece of meat. I'm gonna have to grab that. But that's all the stuff that comes off during the cutting process. You can see it's all over there, right there. That's messier than usual because that was a peppered salami. So that's what you get. That's what I get, I guess you could say. But yeah, we're gonna show you how to take this apart, clean the blade right now. So first we're gonna remove our tray from the Beswood, and just this big nut, or this big nut right here, turn counterclockwise and unscrew it. It will remove like so. Set that aside, and this lifts straight off. Straight up and off. Now be careful when you're handling this, because this thing will flop back and forth, and it's got these on here which are really quite sharp, and if they land on you full speed, they will puncture you. So be very careful when removing this. I usually just take this over to my sink and then just proceed to wash it. Soap and water is sufficient. I usually just lift it like so. I've got a brush like this. Throw some soap on here. Get it wet. Just get all over. Wherever there was meat and cheese you want to scrub. Scrub this part. This works really good for here because otherwise it'll just rip up your dish sponge. Just scrub everything real good. Get in between those pegs. Turn it around. The handle works good to hold on to it while you're giving it a bath. Down in there. And then you do the back side if you want to. Just wherever you think there might be some food. And this is all stainless steel, so just put it under the water and just rinse it again. And that's how you clean your tray. Set it on a cloth and let it dry. Or you can hand dry it if you want. Now onto this mess right here. You can handle this any way you want, but I mean, the way I always do it is I grab my trash can. I'll put the lip of my trash can right here, and then I'll bring over the Beswood like so. I'll just take my fingers, get this out of the way. Take my finger and just get all that gook, your finger, out of there. The blade is protected right now, so your fingers are not in jeopardy. There you go. You got some over here too. You push that down with your finger. Again, shoot it right in the trash can. Easy peasy. And then the rest you can just wipe down with a cloth. And then there's a little brush that comes with that you can get in between the nooks and crannies. So you've also got the front side and the back side. So we'll continue with this. This is why the gloves are so handy too, because they prevent your hands from getting dirty, and they're nice and slippery. So stuff you can just use your hands as almost as a sponge. Just get the rest of that right there in the palm of your hand. Take it over to the trash. Now the rest of it, you just take a sponge and just kind of go over it real good. Scrub it down. There's a little bit of mild soap on here, nothing too crazy. It's like not sudsing up, but you can see there's suds there. And then I'll take a kitchen cloth, go over that, dry it real good, get it nice and dry. And just do that around the whole machine. And that's how you clean up the base and the tray. Moving on to the blade, very dangerous. At this point, you will want to switch out from your latex gloves to some of these. Yeah, these are protective gloves. These will prevent your fingers from getting chopped off, or at least minimize. They're made out of Kevlar, so they are definitely protective. So you definitely want to have these on when performing the next couple of steps. And this is to clean the blade. This knob right here is the release knob for the plate in the front. This plate right here is locked in place with this right here. So what you'll do is you will put your hand on here, hold that in place, and then you will turn counterclockwise that bolt. So I'm going to show you. My hand is on the plate and I'm counterclockwise turning this, and it will come out. You will need this to push it out. So just insert that, push it, and off it pops. Move your screw again. So there's your plate, and you're going to wash that just like you would wash a dish plate. Before you remove the blade, make sure you set aside on your counter flat a nice thick cloth or rag. The Beswood 250R comes included with this Allen bolt, which is what you will use for this. I'm going to show you how to take off this blade right now. Pay very close attention. Make sure you're wearing shoes, not sandals, or thongs, or flip-flops, or huaraches. Make sure you have shoes on. And honestly, if you have some steel toe shoes, put them on. Just in case. So I'm going to show you. This goes into, there's 3 holes right there. See those? This Allen wrench goes right in there. I'm going to show you how to loosen it and take off the blade. So I pinch the blade around back. I'll show you how I grab it. So I put my hand right here, my thumb on the blade, and the other is on the back side of the blade, holding it in place. Insert into the Allen bolt and counterclockwise, loosen it. Do the same to the next one, loosen it. The same to the next one, loosen it. You find yourself a bowl, like such, to put the bolts in after you take them off so you don't misplace them. So what we're going to do is we're going to remove one at a time. And I like to take off the 2 bottom ones first. Once you get it loosened, you can turn it around and then you can spin it if you want, like so, until you get it to come all the way out. They're not that long, but they're long enough. There you go. That's what they look like right there. Just a little bolt. Put that in the bowl. Take the second one out to the left on the bottom. Put that in the bowl. Take out your third one. And this is where holding the blade in place is critical, just in case it wants to slip off. Okay, so put your hand on there like that, push it out, push the blade out off of the cylinder, and then you're going to get your finger inside this hole. Stay away from these edges. They are like samurai warrior sharp. Then take this over to your sink. I'm going to set it on here. Turn on some hot water. And hold your blade in place there. Squirt some soap on it. And just start going around like this. Be very careful. Around in circles. Then set that down. Rinse this off. Make sure there's no more stuff on there. And then you're going to turn it around this way and do the same thing on this side. Brush away like that. If you brush in, it's just going to slice the bristles right off of the brush. So you're brushing away. Okay. Should be nice and clean. If you don't feel it's clean enough, you can take your scouring pad and go around the edges like so. Just be really careful. I can still see some gook on the edge of that blade that the brush isn't getting. So I'm going to go off of this scouring pad and hit those corners, the edges, where I can't see that shady, there's like a film on there. So that looks like it's all gone. I think I saw it on the back too, actually. Yeah, there's a film back there. That needs to come off. I don't know if you can see that, but you need to get that off. Be very careful. I wish I had a dishwasher. I don't know if you can throw this in the dishwasher, but I would much rather do that than risk severing one of my digits. But it's very important that this blade get cleaned properly, because foodborne illness is a real big deal when you're cutting meats and dairy products and chicken or whatever. So yeah, you want to make sure you get every last bit of anything that could cause foodborne illness. Alright, I think that is clean enough. Now we're going to take it over to our drying station that we set up with our cloth, our dishcloth. We're not going to set it this way because that leaves the blade exposed. You set it down like that, you're going to cut yourself. I've done it before. So blade side down. Set it down and get it dry. Very careful. Now drying this other side, just be careful. Do not try to dry the edge of the blade. Okay. Alright. That's dry enough. Now you're going to continue to clean the rest of your machine. You can see all that meat trapped in the back behind the blade and in the nooks and crannies. We're going to get that cleaned out right now. And I do that again. My finger, get in there and just scoop it out. This part you can just wipe down again with the soapy cloth. This is now where you can get in these cracks. Push your sponge underneath there and drag it through. Now, this guy right here comes with the slicer, and it's designed for this. To literally get in there underneath and in there, those little cracks. See that? Up on top as well, but can't see that. But yeah, you can see all the gook it pulls out of there. So that continues to clean in all those hard to get spots. We're going to put the blade back pretty much the same way we took it off. I'll show you how to pick the blade up to get it returned to the machine. What you're going to do is take one hand, push down to lift it, get your finger in that hole. Okay? So again, push down, finger in the hole, lift your blade. Now it's ready to go over to the machine. You're going to line up your blade holes with how you see these here. One on top, two on bottom. A lot easier to do this when you take off this. I should have told you this in the beginning. Take this off first. You're going to go ahead and grab the blade from the back like so and set it on the cylinder. got your bolts right here, and you're going to put the first one in the top. Get it seated. This isn't always the easiest thing to do, but yeah, patience and a steady hand. Hand tighten it a little bit. Grab another screw. Get that in. Hand tighten it. As far down as you can go. Last screw. Our blade is in place. So keep your hand on here because you still don't want it to back off of those screws. So what I do is start with the bottom, and again you can spin it tight real quick when you put it in the length way, which is like so, instead of like this short way. We'll use that when we're going to torque them down. Spin that in. It's on there nice and tight. That down. And then lastly, get this one seated. Okay, there you go. Your blade is in, and you just want to do a couple little torques down, nothing too tight, because it's not easy. You never want to over tighten these kind of bolts. They will stay seated. Okay, it's in. Again, we have our blade set to 0, so there's no risk of getting cut by the blade. At this point, you can wipe your blade down if you want it to look real pretty. Get those fingerprints and stuff off of there if you have to. Polish it up. Time to put our plate back in place. So remember, set this on with the grain going this way. Don't set it on like that. It has to match these sideways. See that? Okay. On here, like so. Just find the hole, stick it on, hold it there. This pin goes in back here, straight up, and just start tightening. Very easy. Tighten it down, your plate's back in place. Now you can put back your sharpener, tighten that down. And lastly, we're going to put our tray back on. So our tray goes back in here, right straight on top of that. Down over that pin. There's your bolt. Goes in the hole there and tightens down. And you're back in business, nice and clean and ready to store. Thanks for joining me on Cooking with Steve in this episode with the Beswood 250R. It's showing you how to slice salami and cheese, charcuterie, and how to clean the machine and disassemble it and get that blade cleaned safely. If I look a little bit sweaty and red, it's because I just finished chopping like 20 pounds of deli meat and cheese. Yeah, I won't lie, it's not easy, but it is the most convenient and economical way once you finish paying for this. But this thing has paid for itself tenfold already with all the slicing that I do. So hopefully this will help you if you're deciding on whether or not to purchase one of these machines. I can tell you it slices everything from frozen beef, which you can watch that video of mine. I'll leave a link in the description on how to slice paper thin beef for shabu shabu or hot pot or thin sliced beef jerky. How to do that, there is a trick, and it involves this machine, and this machine is a champ at performing that task. Also, it slices bread fabulously. I make my own sourdough bread. I also have a recipe for that on this channel, and this cuts perfect slices for sandwiches and or toast. But it's a very versatile machine. It doesn't just stop there. So if you have any questions, please let me know in the comments. Otherwise, thanks for joining me on Cooking with Steve, and until next time, take care.